Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Jana Talk podcast. I'm truly happy to see you here today because today will be a really special episode. I have invited my dearest friend Stefanie Goertz to talk about a very important topic which is healthy boundaries. Because nowadays, what I find out, what I have realized is many people are struggling with boundaries, even it doesn't seem to at the first view. It doesn't matter whatever age you are, if you are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, or even any other age. If we do not set up our boundaries correctly, we struggle with it later more and more and more. And I don't know if you have found out or realized, but in life happens situation that if we do not solve some situation, it tends to repeat, but much, much more strongly, much more aloud, until we finally realize, voila, this is the thing I need to solve out, and then it doesn't appear anymore because we have solved it out. So let me please introduce my today's guest, who you might seen also in my podcast approximately 8 months ago, Stefanie Goertz, who is certified horse coach. She's half Guatemalan and half German. Last time we spoke about Guatemala and her amazing experience because she's half Guatemalan, so she really knows a lot about this amazing place. So if you haven't seen this episode, definitely watch it. It's truly magical, and I really loved it and enjoyed it. She also is a project coordinator in University of Potsdam, and today we're going to speak about our experience. So it will be not like the real interview, but like more talk about this topic. Hello, Steffi, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be back on your podcast.
I'm happy.
Thanks for the invite.
I'm happy that you came again, and I'm truly thank you very much for talking about this special topic, healthy boundaries, and how to protect our energy. What do you think about this topic? Do you also see that many people struggle to set up correctly the boundaries?
Yeah, it's very common, I think, and I also have to say I'm not the expert on it. I'm on my journey to learning how to set healthy boundaries, and it's kind of when you're starting off to learn to like seeing that maybe you have not really set boundaries or not consistent boundaries, then you try to learn how to set boundaries and they come off too sharp, too firm, and it's like yeah, it's a process to
Yeah.
yeah, really find your own way, and I'm in the middle of this process. So yeah, I'm not the expert, but let's share our experiences about it.
I think it can happen to any of us. This situation in our personal life or at work. Usually, it happens in our closest relationships, where it is more, I would say, difficult to set up healthy boundaries. But what I really observe or what I hear see that. It happens more frequently than we would say. So I think on the way there or on the journey there are many people who are watching or will be watching or listening to today's episode. So thank you that we will share this experience with all of
Yes. Yeah.
with all of people who are now here with us. And welcome. Thank you for your time. So, Steffi, what do you think? What are healthy boundaries? What does it mean to you?
So I guess first of all, it's very different from for everybody what the boundaries are, and to set healthy boundaries is more, it's like really knowing what is good for you and what is not, and communicating it clearly and not in a very confusing way or trying to hide your boundaries because it creates more confusion, and it's yeah, actually better for both sides if you are if you're clear about yeah, what are your values and what is a red line, and that you can communicate it in a way that it is clear for the other person, that it's not against the other person but for yourself, really to protect yourself.
Absolutely, I agree as well. For me, healthy boundaries also means that because anything can happen in the life, any challenging situation. But it's what you mentioned, that it is nice, the other person cannot see to our head, so they cannot see how do we have it, what is our experience with this concrete situation. And I really loved what you mentioned, and feel also it's important whenever there is some challenging situation with the boundaries, that it's important to set it up, to say it to the second person or to the other person nicely, so he or she knows, and he or she understands. But it's not like it's like this and like in a strict way, but really in a nice, calm way, to so he or she understands how is it. So absolutely, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it gives both sides more calmness and more security if you know what the other person wishes and expects from you. So I think it's really good. But for me, I've the longest time I've been struggling to really know my boundaries because I was very used to uh, adapting to other people's wishes and needs, and to read everybody's emotions, and to not pay attention to my own, to myself really, because it's like, yeah, a lot of conditioning and how you grow up, and so it's easier said than done to communicate your boundaries for some people, not for everybody, of course. How do you feel about it? Are you very clear about your boundaries, or
Me?
how have you? Mm-hmm.
I'm totally with you. What you mentioned, that you were adapting to other people's needs and everything, and that you tend to forget about yourself. I had it also for many years, but I didn't realize it. I would say that at work it was that the brand, because marketing. I'm in marketing for more than 18 years, and at work it was that the brand was always the first, and I was somewhere at the very very back. For me, always it was important, and it is, of course, the brand to have really nice, great results, to see it shine. But I put myself at the last position. And in the partnerships, I think it was in my private life. I think it was also similar, that I've slowly forgot about my needs and about what I want, what I need, and I was thinking about others all the time as well. So I think usually women have maybe complications with this, to set up with kids, with family, with the relationships. So it is really something what is still important to figure out to ourselves, because then we prevent unpleasant situations like burnout, actually, I believe. Because when we have set up correctly boundaries, we don't spend 12 hours a day at work, because we know that there are days we need to relax and have no work. And so I think it is connected in everything with us, whatever we do, whoever we talk to, whoever we spend time. And also, how do we love ourselves in a nice way, not in the egoistic way? Because if we forgot about ourselves, where is the right self-love? Where is it? So then I think then the crossing boundaries is very easy if we do not put ourselves in the first place. Then it can be crossed very easily, because if we are not in the first place, we put anything else ahead of us. That was definitely my case for many years. So I'm also an expert in this area, I would say. It's not nice to say it aloud, but yes.
Well, how did you learn to put yourself first? Because it's yeah, you also have to learn it and unlearn the other patterns to always
So
pay too much attention to the others.
yeah, so how did I learn it? I think my last project taught me a lot, because I forgot about my value, what I bring to the business, what I bring to the brands. And I was working for approximately like 6 people in one person. I was responsible for marketing, sales, distribution, like for spreading the network. But I was the only one, and I was not able to hire in the company anyone else. Externally, I had amazing team who I built and who I cooperated with, but I was not able to it was not possible to cooperate with them for like bigger part as I wanted. So this was, I think, great thing what happened to me, because I have finally, after so many years, realized my value. And I think this is why this project came to me, to finally realize it. What do I bring to the brand? How active can I be? And sometimes that we need to listen to ourselves, to our guts. So I think this last 2 years taught me probably more than some courses. Or what about you?
Wow. Thanks for sharing. It's not always the easiest route to really find out about what you really need and what's healthy for you. And sometimes it's like the worst situations that make you grow the fastest. So yeah, you don't see it while you're in the middle of it, but when you get out of it, then yeah, you see how much you've learned. And yeah, so that must have been quite challenging. And for me, I have also recently taken on so many more like projects, and I had like so many ideas, and I was like, yeah, let's do this and that, and which is nice to get excited about so many things. But also I learned that I have to be realistic. I'm also just a human, and I've been very much of a like perfectionist and people pleaser, to be honest. So yeah, in the first month of this year was a bit tough, because I realized I cannot do everything I wanted to do, and I noticed that it was my body that showed me, because I was feeling so low in energy, even though the ideas were really exciting and all the projects. I felt like everything was super heavy, and I couldn't even like pick up the phone sometimes, or write a message, or reply to a message. And yeah, I also feel like it's not like somebody else crossed my boundaries really, but I crossed my boundaries, and I myself, and I didn't really know well that there were boundaries. And then so what happened was like, I kind of, because of the energy, I didn't have any energy left. I went into like a withdrawal, and I didn't keep in touch with a lot of people, to be honest, and I'm not proud of it. I just couldn't do it better, and I feel sorry about it, and I feel like if people are disappointed, then it's very fair, but I just didn't. There was just no energy left, and so this also makes me realize how important it is to really know your boundaries, and to speak up early, or really take your time to reflect on how you're really doing, and take time for yourself, and not to just hustle, and then all of a sudden there's no energy left, because it's not just unhealthy for yourself and unfair for yourself, but also for other people. And this is how I learned that I have to pay more attention to my body, to when I feel, my body was clearly showing this is too much, and I need a break, and I don't want to get up, or I have I need really a lot of downtime and calmness. Yeah, so this is something I want to keep in mind, to pay more attention to my body and react more, react faster, and not to override my own boundaries, really. Yeah.
Steffi, you have mentioned many, many amazing things. Thank you for sharing. I put notes not to forget it. But one of the things I wanted to ask you before the other notes, you mentioned that you had body signals, that you didn't listen to your body. I also remember that my body gave me signals, and I totally didn't. Well, already in the past, and I didn't listen to it. That's why I had the terrible backaches, and I was not able to move in my bathroom in the morning to wash my. I was not able to bend to wash my face, and I believe that this is the thing which generally, not only both of us, but people struggle with, that we think about the to-do list. We think about what we have to do, not what we want to do, or what we feel it's right. And we tend to ignore is the right verb, to ignore our feelings in the body. How does the body feel? Because we put it in the, we somehow forgot that the body exists. We are like a machine when we are, or we were like a machine in this special program. So back to you. What were the body signals? What did your body show you that it's not right and that you need to do something differently?
Yes, I said that this exhaustion, this feeling so tired that I cannot really function anymore, and but also a lot of headaches, migraine, and also like my like the migraine that starts behind the eyes and then creeps up, and I really couldn't think. It was my because of the headache. I couldn't think clearly anymore, really, and but I still felt like, yeah, my to-do lists are so long, so I was like pushing myself, and it was not. I was not doing. Of course, I was not doing my best, and then because of all this headaches and the being so tired and exhausted, I wasn't performing on my best level, and then I felt even more guilty. And sometimes I said, okay, oh yeah, I forgot one of the very biggest body signals. I couldn't sleep anymore. Sometimes there was so much anxiety and so much things in my head, so many open tabs that I just couldn't sleep anymore. Sometimes even only like 2-3 hours, and for a long period of time. And this is the worst for me because I need a lot of sleep and to not feel rested. And yeah, I think this was even the biggest signal from my body, that I just couldn't sleep anymore. I woke up panicking in the middle of the night, and yeah, so that was not so nice, I must say.
No, but I think many people can relate to this, because so many people nowadays have problems with sleeping. And I truly believe that the major reason why it's stress, anxiety, and also it's probably also the boundaries, that it's not set up correctly, because then, or there are too many deadlines, too many tasks, so the person is frustrated how to handle it, or is dealing, of course, with he or she can deal with anything. But the sleeping, when it's not right, the body is then exhausted, so it's like a vicious circle. We are like in the middle of it. When the sleeping is bad, then the energy in the next day is also not really high enough. So it's definitely the circle. And it's sometimes I have a feeling it's difficult to get outside, but there needs to be change of the mindset. And this doesn't happen through night, right? In a night, it happens on a stable regular work, which is not visible, but it's somewhere hidden, and then finally it appears and it's better. But it's a life-going process, I believe. Steffi, you mentioned really great examples of the body signals: exhaustion, headaches, migraine, that sleeping problems, anxiety. Would I have heard that even much younger people, like from at middle school, high school, they already suffer with anxiety, which is really crazy. So What do you think? Was there some body signal before you had these signals, even before? Because I
Mm.
think the problems with sleeping is a little bit like later signal that there is something else before, but how to figure out what are the first symptoms, so we can figure out and we can monitor when it appears to
Mm.
be aware of it and
Yeah,
to change the
good
way.
question. Because I didn't, obviously, I did ignore these signals. But when I look back, probably that what I am doing is not bringing joy anymore, even though itself, the tasks itself and the topics and so on,
Oh yeah, Jana.
are something or are topics that are really close to my heart. But I don't know, the routines and the high workload and all that, that was kind of killing the excitement. And but I was like, okay, I have to push through and hustle. And yeah, this that there was not the lack of excitement really maybe is one of the first signs. What about you?
I think that the joy is important to keep in the life. I wanted to say whatever the cost, but yeah, I truly feel it is more and more important, because what I observe also, thanks to the podcast and to thanks to that I know many coaches who life coaches. I have a feeling that for example, the burnouts, the depressions, anxiety, these are the later stages. But the what you mentioned, the joy, it has disappeared from the life already before these anxieties, depressions, burnouts happen. So not to forget about joy and to put it in our lives
Mhm.
is more important than that than no than I would say in the past, I would say. But
Mhm.
this means actually to think about ourselves. What does bring us joy? If it's sport, if it's connecting with people, if it's traveling, it doesn't need to cost a lot of money. It can be like small things. What we did in the past when we were kids, we were running outside. I'm not saying that we will be running with some neighbors outside and playing hide and seek or something like this, but it can be really small thing that we go up on a hill, have a look, or do a little journey, or travel to another city in the same country, or visit some country which we wanted to visit in the past, or cooking some special meal which we haven't cooked in the past. So it can be really small thing, but these small things, when we put
Mhm.
it into the life, it gives us a little bit adrenaline, adventure, and joy. Most of it joy. This is what feeds our energy to feel better. In my case, I was focusing on work for many hours a day for many years, and I would say that the reason behind was that I was not fulfilled in my life, which was my mistake, that I was not fulfilled because nobody else can do it. It's only us who can do it. And I was not happy, truly happy in a relationship which I had in the past. So that's, I think, also another thing what made me feel not that there is something what is still not solved. So that's why I spent a lot of time at work. So sometimes I can say, and also what I see is work can be replacement
Mhm.
of something what we don't have in our personal life, or the opposite. That when we do too much something, it can mean that we do it unintentionally
Wow.
because we miss
Like,
something
wow, that
in
is,
our life actually.
it's a tough if you recognize your younger self, or like, wow, I did this because of and the reasons were unclear to me. So yeah, what do you think you were hoping to get from success in your job that was lacking in your private life, maybe?
When I go back like more in the past, I was long term in a like a long term in a relationship for more than 11 years, which was nice, but the thing, what was it, that we both were focusing more on work and not to ourselves at the stage. And when I just think about it from the very, very future, it's really long time ago, but here it's like the solving mystery. I think what I was missing was to feel important, actually. It is difficult to realize it, but I think this was the internal thing, which nobody says it to aloud, that this is the reason why, because it is so strange to think about it aloud. But actually, there is always some reason behind when we do something too much. It's that we want to feel somehow, I don't know, appreciated or valued or important in the life. But this means that we don't have it or we don't feel it in the life. But it's not a mistake of the people around us. It's on up on us to make it, to set it up correctly in the life, to do it. And it's connected, when I think about it, to the background, to the back to the past. I think it was because I didn't put myself on the first place. So I'm back at the very same thing. If we forget about ourselves and we put ourselves in the back as last person, we put ourselves as a victim, and victim cannot be like, not winner, but win-win. It cannot be never win-win. It's only one win and the other one is down, because if this mentality is there, which I probably had when I think about it from the
Yeah.
past,
Wow.
then it cannot be really healthy relationship set up anyway. I didn't think I will be sharing this in this episode, actually, but it's yeah. I truly think it's something what many people have as well. But if they don't realize it, that the healthy self love is important, much more than they probably say, or than we thought as well in the past. It Then with healthy self love, we naturally set up healthy boundaries because we love ourselves in a nice way. So why do we want to struggle, or why do we want to not have a healthy relationship or win-win relationship, right? Even with a partner, or even with a company, with a brand. So everything, I believe, starts with how do we see ourselves, how do we treat ourselves, and if we love in a nice way, in a healthy way, I mean, ourselves.
Have like patterns and do things and have goals where we think, okay, yeah, this is my goal, but we don't know why it's our goal. And that often it's so much about our self-worth and how much we feel valued or value ourselves, and that we sometimes do things for the very wrong reasons paper, but then you reach a goal and then you still feel empty because you still don't feel loved, or something like that. So yeah, it is very very complex, basically, to also see your own patterns, and to also see where they come from, because
Yeah.
you say, when we behave like that, we are like the victims, and nobody wants to play the victim, but sometimes it's not that we're doing it on purpose, but we have this do you think it's how much is it related to the past and how you grew up? Because there are some people who do not struggle with any boundaries, and yeah, how much do you think it's related to childhood and growing up? Yeah.
To the past. Not to the childhood. Yeah, yeah, definitely it is connected with the childhood and with the past, because when we were kids and when we were really young, any situation could happen with parents or with the friends or anything. But the thing is, if we stick to it, or if we realize it and if we change it, I have realized
Oh.
when I few years ago when I had the opportunity to travel to Birmingham, there was UPW with Tony Robbins, and it was like my first. I would say more thinking about the new mindset, the new way, the change of mind. There were 12,000 people, and it was really, I don't know how many days, 3 days I think, or 4 days of really life changing, I would call it. And the topic one, majority of 12,000 people who were
Mm-hmm.
attending this seminar were solving that they felt that they are not enough, that they are not worthy. And there were different types of people all around the world. There were entrepreneurs, there were business owners, there were students. So and when I realized that this is really topic number one, it is for sure connected with the childhood, because of course our parents did the best what they could do. Anyone does it when he or she has kids. But the question is now, what do we change in our life?
And yeah, as you said, our parents usually do the best they can do, and that everything that is in their power, and they're also just humans. Surprise. And I think we all also learn, or not everybody, but sometimes we grow up in a household that doesn't feel like emotionally safe, or maybe even physically safe. So we have to come up with our own strategies to survive, because we're so dependent on our parents. And
Yeah.
I would say for me, it was the adapting to the situation, to always read everybody's emotions and to adapt to these emotions, and to really not be too much, not have too many needs or expectations, to be easygoing. Because if I also had made some experiences when I was being too complicated, that there were the reaction were very harsh and very strong, and made it even worse. So I didn't, as a child, then I was okay. I am the mistake then, and so I tried not to be too much anymore. And this, so in the childhood, this does help a lot. But then when we grow up, it does not help anymore, and we have to unlearn all of this. And that's not so easy, because yeah, because it has become so much of your
Yeah.
identity, or maybe a false identity, but so much yourself, that it's hard to see what is your true identity and what is only a survival strategy, basically. Um, so I think it is very much related to how you grew up, and but also personality wise, because everybody also develops different survival strategies. There are others who in the same
Yeah.
situation would have developed other strategies, to be like really loud, or really pushy, and really very dominant, maybe. So it's also the personality that plays into it, of course.
You said it amazingly, nicely, very nicely. No, but definitely there are. When I think about childhood, there are really kids who struggled a lot. That child abuse and I don't know crisis in the past, and so it's difficult when I think about my childhood. My childhood was perfect. So and I think in any family can happen anything. So it's, but the thing what I find out sometimes in when I speak to adults like who are really not 20 but like older years old, and sometimes happen that they stick to the past, to some crisis moment, what happened in the past with their parents or I don't know in their family. And I have realized that this is the thing what we need to change in our minds, that it doesn't hurt them when they struggle when they struggle, I don't know, when they are 50 years old and the situation happened when they were 10 years old, let's say, or 15. It hurts the person who is struggling with this topic, who is solving this topic. So it's great to solve it, not only about the situation, but finally to have peace in your mind, and also to move on. And to prevent any similar situations in the future when we solve it in our mind.
The life, the outside that you have created for yourself, it's a very good mirror for how your inner world looks like, basically. My not being good enough is also to relate it to, I should not show that I'm needy, that I need help. I told you the example of when I felt like very much close to a burnout. Basically, I withdraw from people, from friends, from my family, because I thought I cannot really ask for help and show that I'm being needy, and I always have to be strong. And so I would say next time I would communicate more that I need help and support, and and that sometimes I don't even know how this support may look like, but we can maybe figure out together with my closest people, and to make the create this experience because I feel like when you ask for help, a lot of people do really want to help, and to make this have this experience that you are good enough, even if you are in a crisis, even though you are without energy, and that you're still a good enough friend or a good enough sister, daughter, whatever. And to really feel this and not only read books or attend seminars maybe, but to make these experience in your day-to-day life. Because I mean, last year I think we talked about a breakup that I went through, and I did. It was easier for me for some reason to ask for help, and I was so so amazed and so surprised how willing people were giving and giving support. And I think these experiences really helped me for at least to slowly get to the point that I'm good enough.
During these moments, it's difficult to think about I'm enough, I love myself when the person is struggling, whatever he or she is solving in the situation. You mentioned one thing to day to do it in a day-to-day life. What do you think? What habits should we implement in our life?
For me, for example, that's spending time with horses or animals in general, in nature. But for others, it can be, I don't know, something creative, painting, singing, whatever. So I think this is very important to find your own medicine, basically. And but then, so that you at least know that your nervous system knows how it feels to be safe and to be calm. And then I would say, taking some time at the end of the day and reflecting, maybe journaling, like where did I not listen to my body? Where did I feel like a weird, icky feeling in my stomach, and I just ignored it, maybe? And where did I not speak up for myself? Where did I cross somebody else's boundary, maybe? That too. And then also not to be too harsh on yourself when you notice all these things, because that makes it even worse if we are so critical with us. But just to notice and to become aware of it, I think would be a good step. And also to have the courage to speak your truth, because I feel if you're trying in relationships, if you're trying to be the easygoing one, to protect the relationship, it's not protection at all. It's like nobody really knows anymore who you are, and it's devaluing your self-worth, because you're always trying to make yourself smaller. And but it takes some courage because you think I would say I was thinking that harmony is more important than communicating the truth, because it might create conflict and I don't want to lose this person or don't want to risk. But I also have made the experience lately that if you do communicate clearly, then the other person also sees your values because you show them, and then either this person respects the values and that's good, or if they don't respect your values, then they are not good enough for you, and it's not like I'm not the one who's not good enough. So it's also a shortcut to find healthier relationships and the healthy people for yourself, basically, if you speak up and speak your truth. What do you think are good ways to create this self-love and self-worth?
I'm happy that we have this talk today. It's really great. I love it, and thank you for sharing. I was writing notes not to forget it, and I definitely agree with you what you mentioned, that what I believe is important to put in our lives is what brings us joy, whatever hobby it is, or even something small. Because what I felt or what I observed in my own life is when I didn't put it there, it's the joy when it disappears from the life. It's the way to not heaven but the opposite. We need to have some space for our private life. When do we have really, like, when do we have different things than the work activities? And then I really liked what you mentioned, the reflecting journaling. I think during the reflecting or meditation, there is space to listen to your body, to listen to your gut. How do you feel? I liked what you mentioned. Speak up to yourself on a regular basis. Yesterday, when I went with Rosie to our park here, to Witkov, I have met really one nice lady, and she was speaking about her boundaries at work and also her colleagues' boundaries. That they are they didn't speak up for themselves to their manager, and almost all of them in the department have had some injury. She had a serious injury, her colleague had another injury, another one as well, because the body stopped cooperating, because they probably showed the signals to them, and then it just stopped giving signals, and then the injury happened. How do you think we should speak up?
What is most important and what is super urgent is like Eisenhower principle, maybe, to really yes. And also if your boss wants you to do something, and then because they are also just humans and they don't know what you have on your plate, to also communicate what you're working on at the moment and say, okay, if this is your priority, I can do it, but this means that this other task is going to be delayed or something. And sometimes they don't even have this on their mind, like what consequences it has if they give you just another task. So communication is key, I would say. And like, I guess at work, it's very good to keep your emotions out of the way, and to just keep it on a very factual, keeping the facts in the focus, having that focusing on the facts and not on the emotions. Maybe, I mean, in some workplaces that might work, but I think in most workplaces not. And to think from this perspective, what does it mean for the company or for your client, or if you take on more and more tasks, also not like from the priority side, but also that it's important to protect your energy if you want to keep up the level of quality work that you are doing. Then it's important to protect your energy and be realistic with your capacities, and have clear expectations, and if it then to also take responsibility for yourself, like it obviously it would be nice if your boss does all of these things for you, to be clear in the expectations, to protect your energy and be realistic with capacities. But this is also not always the case. So to also make it your responsibility to ask questions if expectations are not clear, or if you think maybe this other person doesn't know what the consequences are if you do the one thing first. So yeah, communication is key, I would say, but yeah, it's not the easiest to do.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I agree with you. What you mentioned, that the communication is always key. The open communication is key to tell them how is it on both sides, on their side, on our side, to prevent any
Yeah,
miscommunication. What I also find out or realized in the past is in the work process, very important, set up clearly who is responsible for what, because this happens in the companies that sometimes this is not clear enough to anyone or everyone. So this, I would say, prevents many miscommunications as well.
you lose so much energy in trying to figure out what is your role and how does this other person define your role. And it's like yeah, the small things that are where you're losing so much energy with when you don't have this
Yeah.
set up in the first place. But then again, you can also do, it's not never, I mean, sometimes it's too late, but sometimes you also can have these conversations in later on at a later stage if it's not clear in the beginning, and you notice it along the way. Then yeah, you still should look for this talk, and yeah, talk about how this is affecting your work. And we also talked about these difficult situations, how they help us grow. So I think the next work, sometimes, yeah, we have to make this experience first to basically learn from it. And also sometimes we don't, sometimes we even know our boundaries and don't communicate them because we wanna want the recognition, we want to be loved, as you say, even though it sounds weird in the work context. But still, I mean, we want to feel good enough, and we don't want to say no, I cannot do this because I don't have the capacities. We want the acknowledgement. So this self-awareness, why we say yes to things, is very important, I would say. And to have the courage to express the no, but also give the other person a bit of a background why the no is also helpful for the other side. Yeah, so it's a lot of in the workspace. It's so interesting how so much of it is not about just the work itself, but about the own process, the level of self-reflection, how much of the personal stuff always goes into how the work life.
So when this situation happen, I think it is important to communicate it clearly that, okay, I'm perfect, I love it, or I like it, whatever it is, I don't know. Hopefully there is a
Yeah.
relationship positive to it.
Wow.
I am able to do it by this date, and I will need this and this to complete it. So I think this is important to realize it, but it needs to be realized in the mind to communicate it.
Yeah. Um, so there are
Yeah.
so many aspects and perspectives involved, and so much pressure basically because yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe the boss herself from this company, I don't know her, so I cannot tell, but maybe she also doesn't have healthy boundaries with her
Yeah, of
bosses
course.
because she's not the owner of this huge company. So or maybe she doesn't have boundary to the clients because it's I will not say the background
Yes.
because if not to what kind of company it is, but it is possible that she also is struggling with setting up the boundaries to people above her or to the clients. And that's why
Hmm.
she says yes to the clients what they need. She doesn't say that,
Yeah.
okay, you, because maybe she was afraid of losing the clients, and she had, of course, because they are in a sales department. So I can imagine, well, creative sales department. So I can imagine that they have many deadlines, and they need, of course, they wanted the clients to be
Yeah.
happy. So that's why she didn't put them tell them, okay.
Yeah. It's very complicated.
Oh, adventure. Steffi, and one more before we finish, what do you think? What would help people to start to say no in a nice, healthy way?
Practicing, for example, if you go shopping in a store and they try to show you things, sometimes you or try to if you go to let's say a shoe store and they say, oh, if you don't like this one, I can bring you another one. And then sometimes even in these situations, we don't say no, even though there's nothing to lose. But yes, I think practicing in the not so threatening situations and also in smaller situations with your friends, maybe to just say, no, I don't want to, I do not want to hang out tonight, not because of you, but because I am so exhausted, or I don't want to go to a bar, but just meet at home instead, something like that. Sometimes even this is difficult because we want to not be the complicated one, or not, or to that we think too much about the other person's needs and not to our own. And yeah, I would say practicing in the smaller, small scale events, and then slowly upgrade. And also, I would say it's never a bad idea to get help, like a coach or even maybe a therapist, depending on what your personal background is and your own personal, also financial, means. So I always think it's also good to have this other perspective and also kind of connect the dots basically, and to get support. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Really nicely said. The practicing in daily situations, that's really great example how to do it in a shop or with your friends, and then getting a coach or mentor to cooperate with. So it's also a great way to realize how do we have it, the patterns in our mind to change it. One thing occurred to my mind when you were speaking about your friends. At the very beginning, you mentioned one thing I think is also crucial to setting up healthy boundaries. That if we say, for example, to our friends that we cannot go, I don't know, outside, or go cannot join them wherever, or anyone else, or partner or family. Sometimes people can have mixed emotions, or they can feel that the friends can feel disappointed. What do you think about this? How to prevent disappointment feeling?
I would say, how, yeah, it's to really know what you want and need, because again, sometimes you don't even know that you are just not don't have the energy to go out anymore. And then to have the courage to say it. And if the other person, I would say, if they're really your friends, or if they have the same values at least, then the person will accept it and will say, yeah, of course, if that's what you need today, or if this is what is up today, then of course we can just hang out and watch a movie at home or something. And if the other person does not have any respect for it, then it's also, it tells a lot about your friendship, and maybe it's also a hard but good way to filter out some people, basically. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. Perfect. You said it really nicely. Steffi, do you have any message you would like to share with people who are watching or listening to today's episode?
Because there's so much internal conflict if you're not clear about the boundaries, if the other person is not clear about your boundaries. So much energy can be saved for everybody if there's a clear if there are clear boundaries, clear values, and so on. Because maybe you also have noticed how calming it is to be with a person who has very clear and healthy boundaries, and they communicate it well. It's such a relief to be, and they draw. They're people magnets, basically, the people with clear and healthy boundaries. So we always think it kills the relationship, but I think it makes you even more magnetic, basically, if you have this calm energy. And to have this calm energy means to have healthy boundaries. So I would also say to look for people who have this energy as well, and because then it's also easier to communicate your own needs and boundaries and values, because they lead by example, and they also usually when they are healthy people and healthy reflective people, they will always want to protect your boundaries as well, because they know how important it is.
Absolutely. I love it, what you mentioned. And just when you spoke about the partner and clear, when they speak their true, I think it's really also what I have a feeling is like feeling safe, that I know that the person is not playing some games, that whatever he or she tells, it's the truth, and it's like it's really healthy, the relationship. I have a feeling that when it's set up like this, the communication, it's just so refreshing. It's really refreshing, even in business, in partnership, in relationship. It's really that where you are standing. It's it's definitely it's a cue to anything. Steffi, thank you so much for today, for this special episode about healthy boundaries. I really thank you very much that you joined. Thank you for your time, and thank you really for your inspirational tips.
Thank you so much. I really loved our talk, and thank you I also learned so much about you today. Thank you for opening up as well. And yes, we're not alone, and we should be brave enough to show our boundaries and our values and speak up, and also in friendships. And so it's good to grow together. So thank you for that.
Yeah. I thank you as well. And I'm looking forward to the next episode, to special questions, where we will have a look what Steffi is doing to prevent her stress, and what brings her the biggest joy. So I'm looking forward. So also, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching today's episode and following Jana Talk podcast. And see you next Sunday at 7 p.m. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.